Good morning and welcome to blue sky, sunny morning. No, it's grey. It's drizzling. It'll drizzle all morning. Do I care? Not at all. We are at the wonderful Kenfig Nature Reserve in South Wales once again, and really looking forward to this. Never let you down. This place is full of orchids, full of fantastic orchids, and full of Kenfig orchids. As in, I haven't got a clue what it is, and I don't mind. I'm just going to go around and see what I can find and have fun in the damp grey. I don't care. Let's get on with it and see what Kenfig's going to turn up in 2026. I haven't bumped into the orchids yet, but I've bumped into the sea. I think I'll give the paddling a miss today. Fair to say the lapwings don't like me being around here. There's always plenty of coccinea form of the early marsh orchid here. Most of them seem to have gone over though, so I'm going to have to cherry pick the best. I think we'll find more vibrant red than this one, but at least it's in decent nick. You get a lot of hybrids here at Kenfig, but it's such a big site. There's plenty of room for your pure southern marsh like this one to be hanging out. Must admit I wasn't expecting these to be out. Marsh helleborine no less. That's good because there's a few big patches of these if I can find them here in Kenfig, but good to see them out. Just opening. Incredible design on these. I don't like helleborines much, but this seems to be an exception to the rule with the colouring and the patterns. I've just realised actually I'm absolutely surrounded by marsh helleborine. I mean, okay, a lot of them are not yet out, but yeah, there are hundreds of them and hundreds of them in this one scrape alone. I'll chalk that one up as a Wintonii hybrid, as very distinct loops. If you look at the one on the right in particular, very distinct early marsh orchid loops on an otherwise southern marsh orchid. Lovely pure textbook southern marsh orchid, no messing with it at all. Everything is right. A white throat, little spots down the middle, perfect. You have to be careful with these coccinnias because the standard incarnata version grows here as well, and they can be quite pink as well and fade down to near white. And the coccinnia can start off bright red and fade down to pink, so you can get caught out. This is a coccinnia as far as I'm concerned. It's fading, but I'm certain that's a coccinnia rather than an incarnata. Fantastic place. Done about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour so far. Only just starting out really. Conclusions from the first sort of 45 minutes is about 50% of them have gone over. They're not usually this far advanced when I've come more or less this week before, so that must be something to do with the weather they've had. I always thought it rained all the time in Wales, but only kidding. Yeah, they seem to be well advanced, but there's still 50% in good shape, and that's 50% of a very big number indeed, so I'm quite happy with that. The other thing that's striking me at the moment, I shouldn't really say this, is that they're all mainstream at the moment. I'm not seeing anything that's making me go, wow, wow, and then dismissing it as a Kenfig orchid and running away in confusion. I'm sure they'll get their revenge. They'll be listening, and they'll be throwing a few things up very shortly that will leave me completely bamboozled, but good fun. And it stopped raining for a bit. Southern marsh orchid. I can't find any grandees at the moment, so mind I've not seen any common spotted either. I guess they're all to come, but yeah, no grandees. Don't know if that's a good thing. Who said there were no grandees hybrids? The grandees hybrid, no less. Lovely markings on a classic, standard, textbook Southern marsh orchid. Right, I'm going to stick my neck out on this one. It's a Southern marsh orchid flower with early marsh orchid loops, but they have a distinctly red colouring to the loops, which means I am 99% sure that is a Wintonii hybrid between Southern marsh and early marsh, but the Coccinea form, the red form of early marsh, I'm absolutely certain, because the red is in those loops. I've always wanted to see one of these. Happy with that. Lovely pale pink Southern marsh orchid, still on its way out, even though very many others are finishing. Wow. Again, Wintonii hybrid with Coccinea early marsh orchid in it. No doubt about that. Very nice. Very bright white throats on that one. I was going to say Southern marsh, but again you could pick loops out of it, but I'll just leave that one as a Southern marsh with a very, very bright white throat. Just grab this one before it goes over. It's a Grandees hybrid, throwing out some nice markings. Another Wintonii with clear early marsh loops that are reddish, and I would say again the early marsh parent is a Coccinea, pretty certain. One of the better Coccinea early marshes. It's quite difficult to find one that's still in good nick, and even more difficult to find one that's a vibrant red. This one isn't a vibrant red, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. I think we'll still find better. My first common spotted orchid at Kenfig. They do exist. Some very bright loops on that one. I would suggest that's another Wintonii hybrid. That's probably the best of the Coccinea early marshes that we've seen so far. That's nice. It's a lovely marsh helleborine. It's a nice Coccinea. Lovely creatures, the marsh helleborines. Lovely markings on that straightforward Southern marsh orchid. Really good. Another Southern marsh with lovely markings. Spotty one. This is a tiddler, but it has spotted leaves, and I think you got to call them early marsh orchid loops. They're spot on, so that would make this a Kernerorum hybrid. If it isn't, it's just a common spotted, but I think those markings aren't really common spotted. I'll go for a Kernerorum hybrid there. Plain leaves Southern marsh orchid with red loops on it, so it's probably, if not certainly, a Wintonii with a Coccinea early marsh orchid involved. Very nice.
Early marsh orchid. I'd call this an incarnate if it wasn't for that flower at the very top, which is quite reddish, but it could be an incarnate and it could be a faded coccinea. More likely to be the latter, but it could be either. That's kind of what I've just been looking at really, with this sort of more incarnata coloured bottom flowers but near the top. That's definitely a coccinea, fading fast top down. Another lovely Wintonii hybrid, Southern Marsh, Early Marsh, and they are the dominant orchids in these scrapes. Huge numbers of Southern Marsh, huge numbers of nearly all coccinea, Early Marsh, so they're going to be mixing it up, and they are. And this is the offspring. It's a Southern Marsh orchid with a pair of, I think they're called 6-spot burnet moths, but I could be totally wrong. They seem to like orchids.
Right, I'm coming into the very last of the big scrapes here now at Kenfig. This was the one that last time I was here produced some mighty weird dactylarizers. So hopefully we'll find some, because they're still mostly mainstream. Great to see still, not complaining at all, but I've yet to find one that's really stumped me, and I want to be stumped. So let's hope this last one delivers the goods. It was also a scrape where I bumped into almost literally a fen orchid last time. I'm not going looking for fen orchids this time. I've seen them every time I've come. They're not particularly attractive things. If I bump into one, that's great, but I don't want to spend hours in this unusual weather, which is brightening up a bit now, but rain won't be too far away. I don't want to spend hours trying to find a fen orchid, so we'll crack on and see what else we can get.
I keep dropping down low to see these sort of really bright, vibrant purple dactylarizers, in the hope they might be Northern Marsh, because Northern Marsh are supposed to grow here. It's the southernmost point of their range, but I've never seen one here. It's not that I'm saying they don't exist, but I've just never seen one, and I've seen plenty up north, so I know what they look like, and yeah, just not seeing them. It'd be great to find one. A lovely pink Southern Marsh orchid. Busy markings. I thought this has got to be a Grandies, but the leaves are clean. It's not. It's a Southern Marsh orchid, Kenfig style. A nice pale Southern Marsh orchid with very, very clear early marsh loops. So that's a Wintonii hybrid. Very nice clean one. And this one could be interesting at last. This has got spotted leaves, so we're talking something with a common spotted in. But look at those markings, distinctly red, and their loops. So you're kind of thinking Kernerorum with a coccinea involved. I guess why not, really? Can't think what else it can be. With those leaves, it's either a common spotted orchid, which it isn't, not with those flowers, or it's a Kernerorum hybrid. So it is a Kernerorum hybrid with a coccinea. That's great, not seen one of those. That is the very first common spotted orchid, only just coming out. It's the very first one that I've seen in one of these stacked dominated scrapes. They are here, just in very small numbers, and seemingly only just opening as well. Well, this one is. Right on the edge of this scrape I found a whole bunch of common spotted orchids all around us. So good numbers here. That's a great big lollipop of a common spotted orchid. Real big one. About 2.5, 3 foot tall, that one. Definitely found the hot spot for common spotted orchids. This is where they're all hanging out.
Another interesting one, as I knew we'd find in this field. Spotted leaves. Again, those vibrant dark tones in the markings. I don't think that is a Kernarorum. It could be, but it's a little bit more than just loops going on here, so it could be a Kernarorum, but it could just be a unusually marked common spotted. But then the flowers are wrong, you know, the lobes are not separated as much as you would find on a common spotted, so it probably is a Kernarorum hybrid again with a coccinea involved, hence the red tones in the marks. It's very nice. I was thinking a wonderfully pale southern marsh orchid, but the leaves have got spots on them, the flowers have got loops on them, so it's a Kernarorum. It can't be nothing else. Dactylorhiza cross Kernarorum, common spotted orchid cross early marsh orchid. It's a lovely colour. Another of these annoyingly intense wannabe northern marsh that aren't. It's a bit too red for a northern marsh. Needs to be a bit darker. Flower shape's not quite right either. It's just a vibrant southern marsh orchid. Common spotted orchid. Good on you. Can you spot the loops on that one? It's a Kernarorum. It's got spotted leaves. So that's either a common spotted orchid. It could actually be a common spotted orchid. The lobes are pretty good. I'll tell you what, should we backtrack? I mean, those loops look early marsh, but I'm going to backtrack because I don't like the look of the loops at the bottom for a Kernarorum. I'm going to say it's a common spotted orchid, but it could also be a Kernarorum. 50-50, make your call. Always find it difficult to find a pristine coccinea early marsh orchid. This is about as good as we found, I think. Almost. Yeah, I would have said it's in pristine condition. Fully open. Looking good. It's a gorgeous, pale southern marsh orchid. Lovely markings. A lot of colour in that one. It's quite small, but very, very intense red in that one. Spotted leaves, absolute tree trunk of a stem. It's going to be a Grandice, and it's a lovely Grandice as well, a big one. Nicely marked. Grandice hybrid for sure. A nice and almost unmarked southern marsh orchid. Nice tall common spotted showing itself in the vegetation out on the banks. It's got some size to it. That's a beauty, and it can only be a Grandice. Only Grandice delivers markings like that. Don't take that too seriously, but you know, they're flashy. They're flashy. There's the spots. Grandice hybrid. Nicely marked. Okay, I've got one. And I say got one. This is an example of what I saw last time I came that sort of blew me away. Still does to a degree. It's quite small, but it's got that hugely intense reddish purple centre to the flower. I'm trying to get the light on it so you can see, 'cause it's very hard to film this. Now, based on what I've seen elsewhere, just looking down, I think the leaves are unmarked. There's some blemishes on it. Yeah, they're clean leaves. So, I mean, the flower looks more like a common spotted orchid flower. With that sort of intensity of
pigmentation in the markings. There should be spots all over those leaves and there aren't. So yeah, I don't know what it is. You can bet your bottom dollar that Coccinya's involved, because that red ain't coming from nowhere else. I'm not happy with those leaves being plain, but that's what they are. They're not spotty, they're plain leaves. So be interested in your thoughts as to what that might be, given the flower shape and the colour involved and the lack of spots on the leaves. We might see some more of these. These are amazing little orchids. That's a lovely Kernerorum. Now less intense than the previous one. Flower shape similar to the previous one, but this one's got spotted leaves. The other one did not have spotted leaves. This one is a Kernerorum, whatever the last one was. I'll call that one a Grandees hybrid. There's a little bit too much going on in terms of markings for it to be a Kernerorum. It could be, but I'm going to call it a Grandees. The contest for best Coccinia in show continues, because that's a good one. That's a beauty, and that is a Grandees. Clean leaves, no spots on them, so it's a sort of southern marsh orchid base, but those markings can't be southern marsh orchid, no matter how hard you try. So it has to be a Wintonii hybrid with the Coccinia red within the markings. That's a lovely pure southern marsh orchid. Very nice, very fresh. Good example of how confusing Kenfig orchids can be. On the face of it, southern marsh orchid, clean leaves. If I was looking at the top of this plant, I'd be all over this as a Wintonii with those loops. But as you go down, it's almost like it's a different plant. It changes colour, it's pale. And the markings, they are still there, the loops are still there. But you have to look close to see them now. They almost become white-throated and spotty, just like the textbook says a southern marsh orchid should be. You know, it's a Wintonii hybrid, but the top half is more convincing than the bottom half. Crazy. A much more convincing Wintonii with those lovely loops and the dark red colouring in it from the Coccinia. This entire patch is made up of Wintonii hybrids, all slightly different. Like this is slightly different to the previous two, but the loops are still there. Typically grand markings on a Grandees. Another stunningly beautifully marked Grandees hybrid. Beautiful markings on that, very clean, beautiful loops. I looked at the leaves, I thought they were plain, but they're actually very faintly spotted, but definitely spotted. That would make this a Kernerorum hybrid, common spotted cross, early marsh orchid. Lovely marsh allobranes everywhere. Clean leaves and a nut job of a flower. It's got a strong lobe down the middle. It's more southern marsh than common spotted. You've got loops on it. They're dark loops as well. You'd go for Wintonii hybrid for me, but a very strange orchid. Spotted leaves, Kernerorum hybrid with a Coccinea early marsh, combining with a common spotted orchid. Easy. That's a beauty. Marsh helleborine with an ant, ex-ant. More incredible markings on a southern marsh orchid. Wintonii hybrid, once again with Coccineas involved. Still getting the odd common spotted showing up. Very, very small numbers, less than 1% of the orchids here, but they're still present. Southern marsh orchid, nice and pale, fading to exceptionally pale. Incredible red colouring. Very confusing because, I mean, you know, we're not talking two little loops here, we're talking a whole load of markings on there. You'd be tempted to say it's a Grandees hybrid with common spotted markings on a southern marsh. But the leaves are clear and the stem is hollow. Kenfig hybrid, I'm going to leave that one at that. I think that's probably the biggest marsh helleborine I've seen so far, top to bottom flowers. Four hours, just over 4 hours. I think that's it now. The legs are falling off. It's actually got warm now. We started off in miserable drizzle. It's meant to be like that most of the day. It's now, the sun is out. It's actually quite warm and humid. Never trust the weather forecast. Right, that's Kenfig done for another year. Thoroughly enjoyed that, always do. Fantastic place. Far more of them have gone over than I usually see when I come here, but you know, even if you lose 50% of them, you know, 50% of a huge number. There's a lot of stuff here to keep you entertained. It's interesting, I met a couple of people on the way around. One of them was saying that how fantastic the site was, but the pity they're all southern marsh. And yeah, it made me think, I'm a nut job. You know, I'm a nut job. I'm a fanatic for orchids, so it means different things to me than it perhaps does to someone who's just sort of mildly interested in orchids, but not massively so. I don't see them as just southern marsh orchids. They are all marked individually. There's some fantastic markings. The colourings are different. You've got your hybrids going on. You've got the Coccinea involvement, which I've never seen before or noted before. Grandees and whatever, they're not just southern marsh orchids. There's every single one has got its own story, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But that's me, you know, I'm a fanatic, so I can look at different southern marsh orchids all day long, and I have done. So I get where he's coming from, but and you've probably switched this video off by now if you agree with him, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you very much for keeping me company this morning, and next Friday, I haven't got a clue where I'm going to be next Friday, but I'm going to be somewhere. So I will see you hopefully 6 o'clock next Friday.